You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you.
We're living in a very dangerous time right now, and liberalism has lost their cotton-picking mind.
The Trump folks, if they found out how we knew what we knew about the Trump staff dealing with Russians, that they would try to compromise those sources and methods.
Nobody ever said anything about resisting Obama. They went at him on legitimate arguments.
I really do believe that much of what you saw coming out of Trump's mouth was a play from Putin's playbook.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Roundtable, your all-access pass to exposing fake news, the resistance, and the global elite's shadow government undermining American progress. Be a part of the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your all-American hosts, Del Marsh and Phil Stargell.
And good morning. Yes, all-American. That's right. All-American hosts, Del Marsh and Phil Stargell. We are here in the studio, and this is the Abolitionist Roundtable. I want to say good morning and Merry Christmas to all. This is a great 2 days before Christmas, Christmas Eve. We just had a monumental, historic tax legislation that just went through. I'm anticipating that 2018 is going to be a not just a awesome a year, not just a great year, but a historic. This is going to be a year that's going to be historic on the records. And so, I mean, a Christmas gift, we couldn't have got a better Christmas gift than this right here. Matter of fact, Derek, if you want to play soundbite number one for me real quick. We want to celebrate this historic moment right now, folks.
We are going to bring at least $4 trillion back into this country, money that was frozen overseas and in parts and worlds, and some of them don't even like us, and they had the money. Well, they're not going to have the money long. And so it's really, I guess it's very simple when you think you haven't heard this expression, but we are making America great again. You haven't heard that, have you?
All right, look at that. We are making America great again. Absolutely. And we want to, I want you to celebrate in this victory too. Give us a call, 734-822-1600. I want to read a couple of headlines. We're going to get, we got our driver here today too. Gary is in the studio. Again, we want to thank Gary for coming in, for participating, for helping me out. So
the official observer.
The official observer. So first, what I want to do is I want to say good morning to the co-host of this show, and Merry Christmas to Phil Stargell.
Well, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. It is indeed going to be a great 2018. I predicted it when Trump was elected, that when he came out with his first 100 days statement. I had that. Matter of fact, I did some of that on the program, if you remember.
Absolutely. So yeah. So his promises came through. We see that the Republican Party got in line. Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, pulled them all together. And so, so we see that they can, when needed, they can come together collectively and make a great decision for the American people.
Well, you know what this proves? I've said many, many times that some of the Republicans are more afraid of the wrath of the Democrats than they are of their own voters.
That's right.
See, they know that if this passes, you know, it's going to work. They know that. But they also know that if they are perceived as dragging their feet and not really behind this, then the people that are the recipients of this tax break are going to want to be looking at somebody, and the Democrats understand that too, and that's why they keep telling you this stuff doesn't work and trickle down is this and that and the other.
Yeah.
But believe me, they are trembling in their boots.
They are trembling in their boots, and one of the things their talking points, of course. Liberals are using this talking point right here, Phil. Here, I'm going to read a headline real quick, and then we're going to get into this. Newt Gingrich said the Trump administration became truly historic this week. That's courtesy of Fox News. And so we know that Newt Gingrich, coming from him, for me personally, Newt Gingrich, I think, is a very smart guy and was the architect of the contract for America during the 90s, what liberals consider an economic boom for the Clinton administration.
And the architect of the last balanced budget.
Yes.
Even though they try to tell you, oh, that's on paper.
Yes.
You understand? I don't care how you cut it. It was a actual surplus in the budget.
Yes.
And for a very brief period, because the Democrats couldn't wait to get their hands on that money.
Yeah, you know what, they turn around and they blame it on President Bush, saying that he got us into a war, this extended war. We don't have to relitigate that, but
put it on the credit card.
And put it on the credit card. But we know that even though at that particular time, we had this ongoing war that cost a lot of money, but we were still taking in record amount of money.
But you notice that when they said that he put it on a credit card, they want to do everything to hide where this money comes from. Yeah. But they're not going to be able to hide that $4 trillion coming in from overseas. And they always say, how are we going to pay for it?
Oh, man, don't you get tired of that right there?
Well, the one thing about it is that Republicans need to promote one policy.
Yes.
And that is, it is the taxpayers' money. This is not China's money.
And see, they use this term all the time that we gave tax breaks for the rich. Yeah. For corporations, we didn't give them a tax break. That's their money in the first place.
That's their money, and they always say give this.
So we're not giving them back anything
that's
at all.
Their money.
That's their money. But liberals believe that money that they have, they should take that money and confiscate it from them. That they know better what to do with it.
And see, here's the thing. The money that we're talking about is their money. That's the money that is spent on the day-to-day government.
Yeah.
The money that we so-called borrow from China, that money is floated through a bond. And that is the surplus of the overspending that the Democrats do.
That's right.
And when they talk about what happened under George Bush, there was an agreement made with these people that for every dollar that was cut in taxes, there would be $1 saved by cutting government programs.
That's something that the president that he mentioned. Also, I want to go through a couple of. I got something that it says. The year. This is courtesy of the Washington Examiner. 1 year, Trump's 1 year list. 81 major Trump achievements. 11 Obama legacy items repealed. And that is something that they talk about. He talked about for every one regulation, he want 2 repealed. I want to go through this list of the 81. But before I get to that, I want to talk to you about another thing that they always talking. Liberals always that their talking point, because they saying that this is going to add $1.5 trillion back to the deficit over a 10-year period. Yeah. Now, of course, we know that we had 8 years of President Obama that doubled the debt,
doubled it
of what we had over the lifetime of the country. He doubled it in 8 years. Yep. And so I want you to explain to me explain to our listeners about this right here, because when they say that over 10 years, they're not taking into account the amount of revenue field that's going to come in because of the economic boom.
Yeah. The only cuts that were made in all of this time was to the military.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing that. I mean, so this is what the deal is. But there is so much waste and so many things that can be cut, but nobody ever really gets to that point. I believe Donald Trump will do it. And if he does do it, but you know, there's that $3.5 to $4 trillion that is sitting out there that these people want to repatriate.
Offshores.
You know?
A lot of foreign investors want to bring it over, too.
You know, they're talking about that $1.5 million over 10 years. That's like $100 billion a year, which is trivial compared to $4 trillion coming back into the country just to repatriate the taxes.
Think about this right here. Now, we lowered taxes for these companies. Now they're going to reinvest in equipment. They're going to reinvest in new buildings. And
in human resources.
Expand human resources. They're going to invest in their own employees.
That's right.
And so their own employees are going to turn around. And so it's not a trickle down, but it's a trickle. It's going to be a trickle through the whole economy, because these people are going to buy new cars, and so that's going to help companies like General Motors and Ford and Chrysler and these other companies. So if they haven't if the car companies are having this economic, well, it's not an economic boom, but we're going to say if they having this expansion and they doing well, we've seen the car companies do give out bonuses to their people.
Oh yeah, profit sharing,
and so we're going to see more people buying houses. This is additional revenue that's going to come in over that 10-year period.
That's right.
So they're not taking into account that right there. Electronics, a lot of electronic companies. We're going to see a lot of new electronic stuff that people going to invest in. I know I had some of the big booty. I got rid of all my big booty TV, what they call the booty TV, and replaced them now with all the flat screen TVs. And so, over that 10-year period, they're not taking into account. Again, they talking about this $1 trillion that we're going to add to the debt. They're not looking at all the money field that's going to be coming in over the next 10 years.
Well, the growth in the economy is the key to it, and we see that.
And you think we can get up over 4%, get at 4% in the next few years?
I think we'll average for easily.
Yes.
And we'll see some quarters where there in some months where there is 6 and 7 and 8% growth, and
my goodness gracious! Oh,
because it happened under Reagan, it happened under George Bush.
Man, let me tell you something. If we see these kind of numbers right there, of course we know that right now liberals. Matter of fact, Derek, if you want to play soundbite number 2. Liberals are not happy right now, so they got their talking points that they're circling. That they're circling, and I want the people to hear this real quick, and then we're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back. We want you to be a part of this conversation, because this is exciting times right now. We're going into 2018, and so we want you to be a part of this. We all going to want to be a part of this right here. If you wanted to start a business, if you wanted to, whatever it is that you wanted to do, this is the time to do it and take advantage of the next 8 years that we're going to have, the next 7 to 8 years that we're going to have this, that we're going to have. Okay, play that real quick for me, Derek.
The Republican tax plan will be full of tricks for the middle class and full of treats for the wealthiest Americans.
It's going to be a middle-class tax increase.
A devastating and, in my view, immoral budget to fast-track their immoral tax plan to hand trillions to the wealthy while raising taxes on the middle class. Taxes will be raised on middle-class families across America.
Okay, all right. So as courtesy of Chucky and Nancy, and again, it's a trick. It's a trick, Phil.
Yeah.
So the Republicans are tricking you because they're giving you more of your own money, letting you keep more of your own money in your pocket. So we're tricking them.
Yeah.
When we know that corporations don't pay taxes anyway, the taxes that they pay come from me and you when we buy their products, Gary.
Right.
So if I bought a iPhone, so if they upset
$1,000 iPhone,
I buy the iPhone is $1,000. Well, I still like it, and so I paid for the iPhone. I paid that extra tax in there too. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's how it works. They'll tack it onto the item, what they're selling. That's all they'll test.
And that's all they do. So
well, one thing somebody ought to ask Chuck Schumer and Nancy is, which is it? You say that the middle class is getting shafted, but then you turn right around and say that the middle class is getting overtaxed because of the government saying that they're not going to have the rest of the country subsidizing New York and California for their and Chicago.
That's right.
For their in-state taxes and their city taxes and stuff that are the highest proportionally for middle class people of any other tax.
That's right.
These people are paying over 50% of their income in taxes, and then we turn around and subsidize them, much the same as we've been doing with what they call the credit card for China.
Yes.
We're paying China interest that we could not have to pay them if we could get the Democrats to agree to some kind of a cut on some of these programs that are have outlived their usefulness.
Well, that's a good point right there. Here,
but you can't cut no taxes for the Democrats. It's always you're doing it on the backs of the poor.
Or they always use the backs of the poor, and again. The backs of the poor is what like you said. Those cities have crushed the poor with these state taxes and I mean cigarette taxes and alcohol taxes and taxes on this and I mean
taxes on soda pop.
I mean taxes on soda. They don't want you to drink a soda pop more than 16 ounces. If you do, you got to pay a double tax on it. But here, real quick, Derek, let's go to a break and we got to come back because we want to get people involved in the conversation. And so if you'd like to call 734-822-1600, we want to get you involved in this right here. Let's finish out talking about this tax revolution that's going to happen, this revolution that's going to happen over the next 10 years. And then we're going to look a little bit into some of these social justice protests, the Me Too movement. Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. As a matter of fact, I just seen the sign on the freeway about the said Me Too, Me Too. I'm a victim too. Everybody want to be a victim of sexual assault, and I want to explain to you about something. It's not even about sexual assault. I mean, they done went far beyond this sexual assault. So let's go to a break. When we come back, we're gonna hit the ground rolling again, folks.
And now back to the Abolitionists Roundtable. Patriotic Black American conservatism, leading the charge and advancing the 4%. Back to your hosts, Del and Phil.
All right, good morning. Merry Christmas again. I want you to join us this morning. This is the Abolitionists Roundtable. Merry Christmas. We're talking about what's going to happen over the next 10 years. And this is a very exciting time. Well, Gary's awake. Gary's awake. A matter of fact, I want to just say again, I don't know if you went to our website, artofmichigan.com, we still have the Stand By Your Friend for the Holidays campaign going on. Again, Friends of Del Marsh Fight Against Cancer fundraiser. Go to our website if you like to participate in the program. It was created by some of the friends here, Janice, Milt, Phil, and Gary. Stand By Your Friend fundraiser for cancer. We want you to go ahead and help out somebody I know personally. Matter of fact, it's me. And I'm doing better and better every day. I had a couple of days where I had a little episode, but my body is starting to get used to the chemo. I don't want to get used to it, but I'm hoping that it's going to have a great result. Folks, I can't even believe that this even happened to me in the first place.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because at the end of this, I'm going to celebrate that I overcame this. It was a challenge that came on my life. I overcame it, and you were a part of helping me overcome this also. All right, so go to our website, artofmichigan.com, or you can also mail to P.O. Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135. I mentioned that again. But here, I want to go back. I want to mention a couple of things this article, and we're going to get Phil's comment on this right here. He had 81 major accomplishments. We know he created over the last year 1.7 million new jobs, cutting unemployment to 4.1%. We saw the Dow Jones reach a record high, a rebound economic confidence in the last 17 years at a high, and that let us know that we have another break. So we got some calls. We're going to get to it. We want you to join the conversation. 734-822-1600. Merry Christmas. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Yuletide carol.
You're listening to the Abolitionists Roundtable with your hosts, Del and Phil. They're exposing the left's underground resistance while leading the charge in the fight for liberty. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Hello, I am Milt, and this is Logically Speaking Uncensored. It's time the Democrat Party disband. The list of evil deeds inflicted upon the nation by the Democrat Party are legendary, and their diabolical policies and political agendas would make the rulers of darkness mentioned in Ephesians 6 and 12 very proud. From their incubation as loyal allies of England and collaboration traitors in opposition to the foundational values of guaranteed freedoms and liberties, many collaborators known as loyalists, after the defeat of England by George Washington and the Revolutionary Army, migrated to the Upper East Coast, regrouped, and around 1828 transformed themselves into a political entity called the Democrat Party. But their mission of opposition to the United States, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution, which make the nation great, remained unchanged. Today, most of the nation's social upheavals, subversive activities, and institutional dysfunctionalities of class warfare are connected to the protocols of the Democrat Party. The turmoil engendered in academia, neighborhoods, organizations, and individuals are the results of the Democrats' divisional enclaves of socialism and contrived superficial grievances of envy and hatred. Democrat ideology has shattered families and national unity and decimated the military with fascist dictates and perverted moralities. And killing of babies by abortions, anarchy, and racial animus is acceptable. And they publicly endorse aiding and abetting unlawful sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants, while they viciously attack unjustly Christian and Judeo religiosity. In rationalizing restoring relationships with Cuba, President Obama said, if something hasn't worked for 50 years, it's time for a change. For over 190 years, the Democrat Party has been unworkable and a national disaster. If Obama is correct, it's time to change Democrat narratives into truth and expose their evil deeds. If one with an ounce of objective honesty research the unrevised history of the Democrat Party, they will find that the entire party is a Trojan horse with an insatiable appetite, waiting to devour the nation from within. If we, the people of the United States, are to survive as one nation under God, the Democrat Party transgressions must be revealed. I know my wishes are inconsistent with the reality of the intractable laws of evildoers, but if human decency and truth is a virtue, then the Democrat Party collectively should admit their transgressions, past and present, pay reparations for supporting slavery, apologize and repent by doing what is right, disband. I am Milt, logically speaking, uncensored, saying, think about it.
All right, again, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining the Abolitionist Roundtable. We are back. We were just talking about, we're going to have to move on from this, just talking about what's going to happen over the next 10 years, this economic boom that's going to happen, how Americans are going to get more money in their pocket, how companies that, you know, liberals always talk about, these big corporations getting these tax breaks. Well, no, they're keeping some of their own money, and that money that they're keeping is going to be invested in America, and these are going to create vast amounts of opportunities for people. Matter of fact, I heard the president even mention that you don't have you won't have a choice, an opportunity for one job or two jobs to pick from, but you're going to have an opportunity to pick from 4 or 5 different jobs. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of economic opportunity. Matter of fact, we know that that Ryan is so excited right now for what they accomplished, according to Newsmax, that Trump pushed by Ryan to follow the tax WAAM with the new U.S. welfare reform. So they want to reform now that Ryan had this pass and he got this momentum going. They want to now look at revamping the role of welfare. So that's an absolute great. This is a great opportunity. It's a great time to do it and put a lot of people back to work. And matter of fact, we know that liberals love people on these programs and keep them on these programs and subsidize these programs. We want Americans to have opportunities. There's opportunities out there for them, and so. The people that's on welfare, we want them to take advantage of these opportunities.
Well, here's the thing that upsets me is because we have a very, we have to admit one thing, that there is a real anger from Black America, well, let's say African Americans.
So-called.
Yeah, so-called African Americans. And the Republican Party, i.e. Trump and Ryan. See, once you say something about welfare reform, now we got to battle with, we're going to give tax cuts to people that don't earn it, that are rich, don't need it, and it's on the backs of the poor. And we can't get around that, and the Democrats ought to be ashamed of themselves to keep playing this race business and then trying to make it out that the racism exists solely in the Republican Party, and African Americans believe that nonsense and look through one lens, and that is racism. But here's the thing: there is a story in there that says that black employment is at the highest in history. Now, that's just the first year of Trump. Not most of that is.
You're talking about black unemployment. Yeah, that's from the CNS.com. It says black unemployment rate lowest in 17 years.
Yeah.
So it is
That's the history.
Going down.
Yeah, it is going down. Yeah. Absolutely.
So now here we go. We know that just the regulations are responsible for this, because what it does is it takes and makes opportunity. But here's the thing, that people like Chuck Schumer, he's responsible for this B1 and these STEM programs that are here, and bringing in people to do jobs that Americans should be doing. And we have got to address this thing. We have got to get this to where we can get some understanding here. And we need, see, right now, it's going to be like 8 million jobs over the next couple of years in the STEM programs. And you know, I'm getting a little bit ahead of the agenda, but there is a report that the NFL players are going to send money to one of the traditionally black colleges.
Yeah, for social justice training. Can you believe that?
And then if you look into it and look into their STEM program, it's very, very minimal. And here we are putting money into social justice programs. Right. They ought to be putting money into STEM programs, getting charter schools up and running.
That's right.
And get some qualified kids into these STEM programs in college so they can apply for these jobs in the that are coming up, because we're going to need them badly. And they have already upped the quota for the people coming from India, China, and Korea.
Yeah.
So they can fill these jobs that are on the immediate.
Yeah, this is in the tech industry. Yeah, tech industry, engineering.
And it's a doggone shame that for years we knew that this was coming. And what do? People like John Conyers, what did they concentrate on? Trying to figure out how to get money from the government to put into the neighborhoods and stuff like that, instead of trying to get the neighborhoods to produce the material, the human resources to go into these STEM programs.
Yeah.
And our schools in Detroit and every major city are solely lacking in producing top quality and top academic people that can go into the STEM programs in the college.
Yeah.
Blacks only represent 5%. That's blacks and Hispanic.
Yeah.
Of the slots that are available, they only represent 5% of the available slots in the colleges. 5%. Yeah. That's a violation.
It is a violation.
You know,
that's an insult right there too.
Atrocious.
And it is. And so
they talk about social justice.
And that just let us know, like you said, that their focus is in the wrong area instead of the social justice. Again, making people victims. You know, continue the victimization of people. But here, let's clear some of our calls real quick. We're going to go look like here. We're going to go to line one. We have our friend Gary from Hazel Park. And he want to talk about Chucky and Nancy. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
You know, Chuck and Nancy, you know, you can expect them to flail about and flounder for the next 5 years or so, however long they remain, because one man who we put in office, Donald Trump, has proven to be a powerhouse of liberty and freedom. And he is unraveling their entire political lives in front of them, and they have no power over it. And so, of course, they're going to be sputtering and complaining and whining, because what he is doing is making their political lives wasted, because all those decades of them trying to manipulate and all their speeches and all their votes are null and void because of Donald Trump, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
There's no credibility.
That is a beautiful thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
They just have no credibility. whatever they say. It's just no credibility those they have to me.
Well, the problem is there are other people that are still listening to them. You know, you're right, Gary. They haven't had any credibility for quite a while.
Yeah.
But they still have these people that follow them, and it makes little sense at all.
Yeah.
Because these people, their lives are going to be much better now. A renaissance of liberty is right now, the threshold of it right now. Our lives are going to improve exponentially over the next 7 years.
Absolutely it is, and we're excited about it. We want to make sure that people are excited about it so that they can take advantage of these opportunities and not listen to those voices of Nancy and Chucky fear-mongering them, and they miss out on all these opportunities. And so you're right about that. Again, we want to keep overshadowing liberalism with all this, with all the great news that's coming out of Washington right now. That's going to make the lives of people better. And so again, we want to say thank you for getting up with us this morning, Gary. We're going to move on from this subject right now. We're going to talk. Thank you, Gary, for calling this morning. We're going to talk about now the Me Too movement. Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. You know, Phil, I've seen a headline from the AP. They said they took a poll. They said sexual misconduct allegation voted top news story of the year. The top news story of the year. So it started with, well, it didn't even start with Weinstein. It really started with, well, it started a long time ago with Bill Clinton, but we seen that when they took out Bill O'Reilly. Yeah. But then it really shed light on everything when they found out about how Weinstein was this monster. I'm talking about this. We talking about a monster. Yeah. How he was manipulating all these young women over the years. And so I mean, just a real monster. And I get to it just a minute. And so now we see that women are coming out here. This is from the Washington Examiner. Now Linda Sarsour, and now it's going not just where people like a guy Matt Lauer. Matter of fact, I heard a lady that was on his program on NBC said that me and Matt Lauer, we had a consensual relationship. Consensual. Now, she said this right here. We had a consensual relationship. He was single at the time. I was single. But it was an abuse of power. An abuse of power. And so, I mean, again, something Phil brought up, we know a few weeks ago, how people are now replacing our constitutional rights with civil rights. And what I mean by that is that everybody is guilty of something. People are being fired just because somebody making allegations. They making allegations, Phil. Yeah. They don't even, being threatened no court time, no due process at all. And so there's no due process. All I have to do is just go on TV and say somebody touched my arm and I didn't like the way he touched my arm, and I reported it, and he touched my arm for years. And so now that becomes groping or sexual assault.
And some are being paid.
And so we know that here I want to just mention that Linda Sarsour is being accused of enabling sexual assault. It was a woman that said that she reported this to Sarsour when she worked with her, and she said that Muslim men don't do things like this right here, especially to women like you, because the woman wasn't all that soothing on the eyes. But now it's coming out. I mean, what these allegations are coming out where now women, they're going after not just men anymore. Now they're going after women. We know that, again, Meryl Streep, she said, well, hold on, I didn't know anything about Weinstein. Women are saying, wait a minute, you know, you were influential in the industry for years. You were around this monster, and you allowed this to happen. So women now are going after her, saying that she was an enabler herself.
Yeah, you know, and that played out in the Roy Moore scenario.
Yeah,
you remember
first campaign. Yeah.
Like Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
You know, they say that he had a lock on the door that
Yes.
he could
Hit from his desk.
Yeah, from his desk. He'd
Yes.
lock you in there, couldn't get out. Well, this woman said the same thing about Roy Moore. You know,
Yeah.
she said that she tried to get out of his car, and he had the door locked. You know, and then somebody mentioned the fact that, man, you know, that's a little bit out of the ordinary for that time and age. 40 years ago,
Yeah.
didn't nobody hardly have no locks on the doors. You
Door
know?
locks, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, so this is the kind of stuff that people are accused of things.
Yes.
And when I say about civil rights,
Yeah.
it means civil rights have always meant that some people have more rights than others.
Yes.
And women have claimed that mantle. You know, they're saying that I should be able to accuse people of actions that happened years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody can prove one way or another, but I'm supposed to be believed. Now, what I would like to know is that when this man was running for office, you could have come out and disparaged, you know, his reputation and stopped him from getting any further if you had brought this out.
Yes.
And it would have been within the time when, you know, it might have been able to been fully investigated, and this man would have been stopped in his tracks.
Yes.
But you chose not to do it. You chose not to come forward. I think that was approval of him going further. I look upon that as being, you approved of him being, just like now you disapprove of him. So if you approved then, what changed your mind 40 years later so you disapprove?
Yes.
And expect us to go for it. So, you know, this is why justice and the rule of law is so important, and why constitutional rights can never be thrown out of the family, out of the public square.
Yes.
But that's what they're trying to do, and we have got to recognize what they're trying to do. They're trying to take this country and remove constitutional protections from everybody to give a few people because it's popular at this moment in time.
It is popular at this moment in time, and it's dangerous at this moment in time. I remember years ago we heard that we heard liberals say, and that's why I'm surprised it's to shift a little bit to women, because we know that for years women have said that white men in power, they need to move out of those positions and let others, let others have opportunity in those positions. So I thought it was just about removing the white male. You're right. It's about removing our constitutional.
Exactly right.
Absolutely, our constitutional rights are being threatened at this time right
constitutional
now.
protection.
Constitutional protection.
See, that's
is
the
being,
thing.
right now at this time.
The Constitution is what protects us and has an honest discussion and anything.
Yeah.
If you follow the Constitution, you can't
allow due process.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
like in a timely manner, like you said, in a timely manner.
Yeah.
You know, they want to bring out, like you said during Roy Moore's campaign, they want to bring out all these allegations, but it wasn't in a timely manner where he was allowed his due process. We got about 1 minute left, and so I'm gonna let you go ahead and whatever your concluding comments are, and you can get a concluding comments because we are at the end of our show.
Well, the thing is that the Constitution is meant to be eternal. And we have taken that Constitution and allowed it to be eroded. That is what made America great, the Constitution. And in our other documents, but mainly because the Constitution is what protects us from tyranny. It protects us from injustice. I mean, this was the most beautiful document ever written, and we're about to trash it. Because we want to,
liberals have trashed it.
Yes, they have.
They have.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, go to our website again, artofmichigan.com, or you can write your check to Dale Marsh, P.O. Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135. If you'd like to support the our cancer fundraiser, but I want to say on Monday is Christmas Day. I hope everybody have a Merry Christmas. We're going to have a great New Year coming up, and so we'll see you next week, folks. Merry Christmas.
The Abolitionist Roundtable invites the WAAM TALK1600 listeners to continue the roundtable discussions by mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135.
Or follow Phil and Del at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.